The search for a new Anniston City School superintendent is now underway. It comes as Superintendent Darren Douthit announced his resignation during a recent school board meeting. Let's listen in.
Now it's with regret that I have to share some other information with you. I had a meeting with Mr. Houston today, and he and I had a great conversation, actually. We talked about a number of different things, but I called for the meeting so that I could let him know I was resigning. What he and I agreed to, and I shared with him what my thoughts were on the matter. What I determined was that it is necessary at this time for there to be a change related to some things that this board is trying to progress with. And he didn't prompt me, he didn't prod me, so you all need to get this right. I called Mr. Houston. We had a meeting. I let him know I would be resigning. So what I'd like to do, just so everyone is clear, if you have a question, here I am right now. After the meeting, I would respectfully like to walk back to the office by myself. So if you have a question, now's the time.
How would you say this season has been with you heading up the school system? How has this whole journey been for you?
I love the place, and that's why I'm resigning.
What are you going to miss most?
Well, you know, the students we serve deserve the best. And if you're not in a position to give them your best, you need to step down. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you.
The board can't ask questions. The best, may I ask a question? The best according to what standards?
Well, let me say, what he and I discussed were some concerns that I had for myself. And if you are not in a position to give it 100% in this position, what I've learned is you need to find something else to do. It's the same thing that applies to a teacher or a principal or anyone else. I take the burden of all the decision making and the problems that we have. I had thought that I could come in and make some things happen that I couldn't make happen. Ultimately, again, this is a decision I made that I thought would be best for the district. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the kids we serve. Sure, there's been some progress, and in some cases there have been some mistakes made, and I had conversations about that, and I'll leave that private. And we were in agreement on everything that we discussed today. And again, I initiated the opportunity, and it was based upon, again, the need for fresh eyes, fresh leadership, and fresh motivation associated with trying to move forward with our students in a way that we get better from where we are right now, in 2 or 3 different phases that I've tried to focus on and make a difference in.
Okay, since I asked a question, I'd like to commend you for the services that you have rendered over the years. And in education, we sometimes don't see progress until years and years and years. There's always positives and negatives to every situation.
Yes, ma'am.
For all of us, even when we have done our best. So I don't want you to look upon yourself, as I'm hearing here, as being a complete failure.
Oh,
No, let me finish. That's the way it came across to me sitting here, and I don't want to go away. I don't think that way. I'm going to say something and say not whom it came from. Someone asked me to make a complete request in Montgomery for a complete evaluation of finances, curriculum, and everything. Being an educator, I refuse to do that. I discussed it with the state superintendent, and he in turn called the person to let them know what's within my realms and what's out of my realms. When you're in a position like you and in a position like me, it's just like the man carrying the donkey. You know, you keep changing to please this one, to please that one, to please that one, and you get nowhere. But I want to thank you for what you have done. You have brought something to the system, and hope you the much success when you go out into whatever your endeavors are. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak.
Oh, you're so welcome, Dr. Ford. Let me say that under no circumstances would I consider anything that was done a failure. The things he and I talked about were things that I specifically brought to him. He didn't bring it to me. I brought it to him, and I had to thank him for his tolerance of the way we went about a particular matter or two. It has nothing to do with anything that any one of these board members has brought to me. Let me be clear on that. I called him and I had him meet me where we could have a conversation. And my decision was made prior to, he had no clue. He just said, I'll be there shortly. He had no clue what I was coming to him with. The staff has done a tremendous job in several areas. There's no doubt they could be listed by some of the people who are sitting here. And so I'm not bothered by the progress in technology, the progress in pre-K, the progress in, and I'm not taking responsibility for any of that. I'm giving it to the people that are sitting out there who made it happen. So no failure in regards to what we tried to do, because I love kids and I love the opportunities that our kids have in the future. So that was never in question. But I think in the end, I had to take an inventory of myself and then try to make a decision that would be best for the district. And again, I was taught when I played football, if you can't do 100%, my coach said you need to stay on the sideline. And that's pretty much the way it's happened. And I admitted to Mr. Houston that this has been something that has been happening with me over the last year and a half. And ultimately, you have to make a decision that you think is best. And in this case, I wasn't thinking of what was best for me. I was thinking of what was best for the school district and the kids and the adults we serve. Mr. Gregory.
Sir, I'd just like to say, of course, you and I go way back. And there are some things that both of us know. But I'd simply like to say that I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve as one of your principals. Your support of me, I've said it in public and in private, has been 100%. You've given me the opportunity to do what I felt would be best for the high school, and without that support from a superintendent, I don't care how great of an educator you are, your road is a very difficult road. And I want to appreciate you for the support that you've given me. Certainly we pray for the best in the future for you and your family. Thank you for the candid conversations that we've had on many occasions, and the sound counsel, and then the latitude to make the move that I thought was best. I appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, Mr. Douthit. Over the last few months, we had a couple of issues that we worked together on, and thank you for those efforts to find resolutions for the employees. Being somebody that represents the employees, I know they're going to ask, what's the effective date? What would be the process moving forward? Okay. And then the process moving forward, I guess that would come from Mr. Houston. And
I would ask you to give him some
time to discern it. Okay.
That's something
Yes, sir.
You'll come back with.
All right. Thank you.
Board members, I want to dispel of the normal roundtable. I would like to say to the audience that Mr. Douthit and I had a man-to-man conversation today. at a level that's uniquely different than someone who is a peer to subordinate type role. And when you get to that point, you can have conversations that are candid. By no means have Superintendent Douthit failed across the board in the school system. A lot of things have been implemented. One of the things he was candid on was the strategic plan. And he said very clearly that he didn't know if he could make that happen. And the reason he said that was because he can't do it by himself. I said this last month, it's impossible. It takes a staff to make this happen, right? It takes a whole staff. And he wasn't sure that he could garner the support of all the staff members. Just that clear. And he was very candid, very open. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It was a 1.5 year long decision, gut-wrenching. But and one of the things he said very clearly, this is not about me. This is about the students and taking it to a next level. And what do I believe I can bring versus a new set of eyes? That's the way he brought it to me. Okay? And when he called me and said, let's talk. And he said, right now? I said, if you can be there right now, I said, whoa, give me a minute or two. So he gave me a minute or two and I showed up. And we talked about one matter. Then he said, let me talk about why I'm really here. And he laid it out. After we finished our conversation, Superintendent Douthit, I went back and wrote a couple of things because that's what I do. I said, in the darkest, it's in the darkest that the stars shine bright. And you see what's meant is hidden from you come to light. Think about that. When it's the darkest, it's when these stars shine bright. And it reveals to you what's the detriment that some people mean for you. And that happens in this community specifically. You try to do something good, they're coming after you. It is not about the goodness of what you're trying to get done. It's about bringing you down because they don't want somebody else to shine. We don't care about shining.
In other news, the Anniston City Council voted to relocate City Hall to the Anniston Star's current building. In the meantime, plans to build a new federal building on the City Hall's property are being hashed out.
I think it's important to understand that nobody is fighting bringing the federal courthouse to Anniston. Well, I don't think so. We have 100% of our council is for the courthouse. If you guys have had anybody tell you that anybody was fighting against the courthouse, you're being lied to, essentially, because there is 100% support for bringing the federal courthouse to Anniston. 100%. Now, are there disagreements? Absolutely. You know, there's a disagreement on whether or not it should be in downtown Anniston or in Anniston proper. That's a disagreement. Is there a disagreement whether it should be on this side of the street or that side of the street? Yeah, it happens. Are we rushing through it? You know, that's a conversation too. But it's important to note that there is absolutely no resistance to bringing the federal courthouse here. We are 100% on board, and if anybody has led you to believe that anybody on this council is working against it, you know that I'm sorry they wasted your time getting you to come here and fight for something that was never a fight in the first place.
The other thing is, this council did not vote on who is going to negotiate with GSA about the issues. Did not vote. We didn't vote authorizing anyone to do that. Just pop goes the weeds, here come cats for the ghost. Okay? Those are concerned about elected officials, spent 20 years in the military, and doing certain things, and there's just a procedure and a way things are supposed to happen.
Let me say for the record that there have been no negotiations with GSA. Those negotiations have not even kicked off yet, and GSA would tell you that, quite frankly. There's been an exchange of information from city staff with GSA and from their staff. This resolution that we're considering tonight simply authorizes me, and I do only have one vote on this council. I'm also the only member of this council that is elected by the city as a whole, so it is appropriate for the city manager and I, in my view, to negotiate this contract. I will say further for the record that I believe the GSA is aware of Mr. Little's concerns because he has expressed those concerns to GSA in an email. I don't think they need to hear it again. They have already heard it, quite frankly. This site is being praised. The existing courthouse site is being praised. Only when those appraisals are done can a negotiation begin in earnest. It may be very well that the city decides that it wants its own appraisal of both of those subject properties. So I just want everyone to understand that what has gone on thus far has been mischaracterized. And I just want everyone to know, again, no negotiations have taken place. They will, following these appraisals and hopefully following the passage of this resolution.
In the pre-council work session, Councilwoman Millie Harris alleges that Councilman Ben Little went over on his travel expenses by $1,200.
The City of Anniston fiscal year 2018 budget approved on September the 5th, 2017 appropriated a line item travel expenditure of $5,000 per council member per fiscal year. Council member Benjamin L. Little's travel expenditure in fiscal year 2018 exceeded the total $5,000 appropriation per council member by $1,200. Any officer or employee of the city who shall violate this section shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall cease to hold his or her office or employment. Now therefore be it resolved and ordered by the City Council of the City of Anniston, Alabama as follows. Number 1, Council member Benjamin L. Little is hereby censured for mismanagement of public funds entrusted to him by the taxpayers and citizens of the City of Anniston. Number 2, Councilmember Benjamin L. Little is hereby ordered to repay the City of Anniston $1,200 within 30 days of passage and adoption of this resolution. Do I have the votes to move this to add this to the agenda tonight?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
What about you, Jay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
There's somebody said that I owe the city of Anniston some money on travel. Who said that?
I did.
Were you to keep up records?
I saw the records.
I said you to keep up records. Answer the question.
Hey, Mr. Little, Mr. Little.
What, hey, what?
Mr. Little.
Come on, what you want to do?
Mr. Little.
What you want to do?
Sit.
Don't tell me sit.
This is not appropriate, Mr. Little.
It's not appropriate him running his mouth in here.
It's not appropriate.
Now your wife, you get your wife and take her home with you. Say what?
Ben. Come on. Ben, come on. This is not appropriate.
Did Joe come in here running his mouth about you keep up records? You don't keep up records.
The county keeps records.
The what?
The county keeps records. The city.
Still, you're not the county to keep up records.
We all have.
You're not to keep up records. If there's a problem, that problem comes from the recommendation of keep up records, not from you. That's what it is. That's what happens. Then you bring something up in a legitimate chain, in a legitimate way. Now, when I request my daggone financial report and my tickets, that money was spent on the last year's budget. That's when the ticket was spent and purchased at that particular time. When they took it out, I don't know. But I specifically did it in a way where it was going on the last year's financial budget report, not for this one, or the last one it came out on. Did not do it.
It was not submitted.
Well, I don't know.
In this fiscal year.
It should not have been. Should not have been. And I specifically managed and was watching on what took place. Specifically. Now they got it on the other one, and that's their business. But if you look at the timing and the money that was saved out of the previous budget year, then that's a different situation. Now I don't want to say nothing. I did not go over did not go over my allotted amount. And if something financially that is required and there's a problem, I would respect that you come and tell me about it.
I did.
You come and tell me about it. You offered that, and I sent you my report.
You did.
I sent you what took place.
I sent you what.
Okay. I sent you what took place. That's the legitimate channel that things should come out and flow in.
That is what happened, though. Is that not
No,
correct?
no, that's not what happened.
I will tell you that I am the council member that overspent 1 year and wrote a check back to the city for over $700 because I overspent on mine.
So if you agree with this motion, then you committed a misdemeanor then, according to this motion.
No, I repaid it.
Okay, so.
As soon as I was made aware that I overspent, I repaid it.
This was presented to us in a work session before the council meeting. So when did he have the option or the opportunity?
Not only that, but let people understand, it's a violation of state law.
So
It's
you
already
violated
violated
state law then.
It's
So you committed the
simple.
same crime, but you're gonna try to convict this man of the same crime you committed.
I tried to
Convict anyone.
And then, prove it. Come on.
Who wrote this ordinance? Who prepared the ordinance? I mean, this resolution, what we doing? Who prepared that? Who prepared it?
I did with the help of our city attorney.
You did with the help of the city attorney. Is this the same city attorney that's living in one of you all's houses?
No, he is not.
He's no longer living there. He used to live in one of you all's houses? Is this the same city attorney that prepared this ordinance, that stayed in one of you all, a family house that was rented from you all? That same city attorney? Let me move on. Let me move on. How about, see what I'm talking about? How about one individual, a staff member in the city, went over excessive amount of money, drinking alcohol, drinking liquor, whatever drink? Did that go on? Was that censored? Were they charged now or being threatened with a misdemeanor, putting something into place where they're getting a misdemeanor? Listen, just to put it in content and for you to understand, yes, there's a budget passed for travel. I had some additional monies in the prior year that I paid some in the next year coming up, going on trips from that to before the budget ended. Now, did the hotels take it out at that time? Apparently they didn't. They waited until the next after the fiscal year to do it. But I scheduled it along the prior year, so it would come out that year and not the next year. So my thinking is that it was coming out of that budget because it had monies left over.
Then Councilwoman Harris also had a proposed resolution involving Councilman David Reddick.
November the 24th, 2018, Council Member David E. Reddick sent an email to City Manager Jay Johnson calling for his resignation, stating, among other things, there are younger, more energetic people out there that would love the opportunity to come to a city like ours to make things happen. No individual council member has the power or authority to terminate the city manager's employment or to effectuate the city manager's resignation.
Now, let me ask you a question. What if I put up a resolution for you putting statements on Facebook with Hitler on it, talking about tell the lie, make it big, keep on telling it? Now, I didn't make any derogatory statements, but at the time you put your negative post out on social media for the whole world to see, you was in a run after a black man. So you saying I'm discriminatory because I said we need a younger, more energetic city manager?
No, the fact is that's against the law.
To say we need a younger, more energetic city manager? Well, you said we need a female city manager, so you broke the law too, right? I didn't say anything derogatory about the man. I said we need a young, energetic city manager.
Okay, I'm not going to exchange.
So,
I'm not
yes,
getting an
you did.
exchange with
No,
you.
but you are in an exchange. That's what this is. To attack my character and to try to put up a resolution is an attack on my character. You didn't give me the respect to even call me and talk to me about it if you had a problem with something I said. Now, I don't go out here and publicly blast you. I could, but I don't. because I believe you deserve a certain level of respect. But then you come and then you talk about it while I'm not here. I mean, why didn't you wait till I got here?
I would really like to say one thing before we go any further. I know everyone is so weary, and you can imagine we are as well. This is a controversial resolution, but I do not think that we can ever heal our city until we're all kept to the same standards. I proposed this in the work session. After the work session, it was controversial as well as the next one that's going to be introduced. After the work session, we ended a little early before this happened. Then the two people who were affected by this went to the computer and pulled up this from 2012. This is a picture of Adolf Hitler. That's something I put on the internet in 2012. It says, the quote is, "Make the big lie, make it simple, keep saying it." An employee here messaged me, "Millie, did you just post a picture about Adolf Hitler?" I said, "Yes, but with a caption about how easily people can be manipulated. Does it appear that I'm endorsing such evil? If so, I will delete it." Anyone of the lowest intelligence could understand I was not endorsing Adolf Hitler. And I'm going to pass this around before we go any further because I want everybody to see it. It is unbelievable the message that was made out of this, because I was trying to illustrate a point, and I think most reasonable, intelligent people would realize that. If we don't quit playing the race card, if someone disagrees with us, then we will never heal. We have got to heal. And if I were to hold someone of a different race to a different standard than I would hold myself, that is a form of racism. So that is why I'm saying, no. If you go over your travel budget, I would have to pay it back. Another councilman had to pay it back at one time. We all would have to pay it back. I'm just saying, let's everybody be held to the same standard. And that's all I'm saying. That's the fairest way I can say it. And if you want to look at this and examine it and see if you think I'm a Hitler fan, please go at it. I'm going to, would you pass it down, please? I had to do this because I'm a little bit tired of this being held over my head and blackmailed for people to think that I'm a fan of Adolf Hitler. That is the most asinine, unintelligent thing I have ever seen. So pass it around. Okay, so that I'm through with what I'm going to say about that. I want everyone to be held to the same standards. That's all this is about.
Is in any scenario, in any situation, is it all right to put Adolf Hitler on your social media page? And let's have some context of what was going on at the time. When this was posted, Councilwoman Harris was in a runoff election with a black man. And you're posting Adolf Hitler while you're in an election against somebody black, and you saying you didn't mean it to be racist? Even if you won, is this okay? In any scenario, would anybody in this room post something like this and think it's okay? Yes. And then instead of apologizing and saying, I did it, it was wrong, let me accept responsibility, to go back and try to justify why it's okay to put this man, and I'm glad you got these flames in the background, because I think Hitler, I think preachers and politicians that cheat people, kill people, steal from people, mislead the people of God, I think there's a special place in hell for them. And I think Hitler's there, and I think the people with the hatred in their heart to support stuff like this, you got to get that hatred out of you. That's why you find yourself in a situation where you have more money than everybody on this dais, but you have no peace of mind, no peace of heart. You can't.
Stay tuned for more developments with the Anniston City School System and the City of Anniston as they progress. Thanks for watching.